The night it happened, everything felt balanced on the edge of a blade, the kind of moment where the air itself seems to hold its breath, and it all began with 3 seconds that no one else thought mattered, 3 seconds that would decide whether fear won or loyalty rose from the ashes of a forgotten promise. The title people would later whisper online, "You have 3 seconds," came from a warning spoken softly but with a weight that could crack concrete, and from a girl most people would have overlooked, standing alone under flickering streetlights with nothing but instinct, courage, and a past no one around her truly understood. Before the story pulls you deeper into that night, take a moment right now, and if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that even broken people can become someone's miracle, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from, because stories like this connect hearts across distances we cannot see. Her name was Emily Carter, and she was not powerful in the way movies define power. She did not have money, influence, or a crowd behind her. She had tired eyes that had seen too much too early, hands that trembled when memories crept in, and a heart that refused to harden no matter how many reasons the world gave her to do so. Emily grew up on the edges of places where people learned to survive before they learned to dream, raised by a father who wore leather jackets and scars like badges of honor, a man who rode with the Hell's Angels not for chaos, but for brotherhood, and who taught her quietly that loyalty was not about violence, but about standing up when it mattered most. When he died suddenly, the world did not pause, and Emily learned how quickly people vanish when you no longer have anything to offer them. Years passed, and Emily drifted far from that world, trying to build a life that felt normal, working late shifts, keeping her head down, telling herself that the past was buried. But the past has a way of listening, and on that night, as she walked across an empty parking lot after work, she sensed something wrong before she could name it. A group of men circled a stranger near a broken-down car, their intentions written not in words, but in posture and laughter that scraped against the dark. Fear tightened her chest, and instinct screamed at her to keep walking, to mind her own business, to survive. But something deeper stirred, something her father once planted without knowing it would grow into this moment. Emily stepped closer, heart pounding so loudly she was sure they could hear it. She felt small, invisible, and painfully aware of how alone she was. The men barely noticed her at first, dismissing her presence with the same casual cruelty they showed the stranger. That was when she spoke, not loudly, not dramatically, but with a calm that startled even herself. She told them they had 3 seconds. 3 seconds to leave. 3 seconds before people they did not want to meet arrived. The laughter that followed was sharp and mocking, the kind meant to crush hope quickly, and Emily knew that if her voice shook now, everything would be over. What those men did not see was Emily's hand inside her jacket, fingers brushing an old patch her father once gave her, faded, worn, but heavy with meaning. What they did not hear was the message she had already sent, the call that reached a network bound by memory, loyalty, and unspoken rules that never truly die. Time stretched, each second dragging like a year, and Emily felt fear try to pull her under, whispering that she was foolish, that no one was coming, that she had made the biggest mistake of her life. Then the sound arrived, low at first, like distant thunder rolling across asphalt. Engines. Not one, not two, but many, their roar growing louder, closer, impossible to ignore. Headlights appeared at the far end of the lot, then more, and more, until the darkness itself seemed to retreat. The men froze, confidence draining from their faces as reality replaced bravado. Bikes poured in from every direction, leather and chrome filling the space with an energy that was not chaotic, but controlled, purposeful, ancient in its code. Nearly 1,000 Hell's Angels surrounded the lot, not shouting, not threatening, simply present, and presence was enough. Emily stood there, shaking now, tears burning her eyes, as the world she thought she had left behind answered her call without hesitation. These were men who remembered her father, who remembered promises made in silence, who understood that when one of their own asked for help, it was not a question. The threat dissolved without a single blow thrown, the stranger saved not by violence, but by the weight of unity and reputation. The night exhaled, and Emily felt something inside her shift, a knot she had carried for years finally loosening. In the days that followed, the story spread, not as a tale of intimidation, but as a reminder of something many had forgotten. Emily did not become famous, did not seek attention, but she became something quieter and more powerful. She became proof that courage does not always roar, that sometimes it whispers, counting seconds while standing alone. She reconnected with parts of herself she thought were gone, honoring her father not by returning to his life, but by understanding the values he tried to pass on. The stranger she saved sent a letter later, not with grand gestures, but with gratitude so raw it brought Emily to her knees, and she realized then that one moment of bravery could ripple further than a lifetime of silence. As the months passed, Emily began volunteering, helping people who felt invisible, those who believed no one would come if they called for help. She told them that sometimes help looks different than expected, that sometimes it arrives on two wheels with a past full of shadows, but a heart still capable of loyalty and protection. She learned that healing does not mean forgetting who you were, but choosing what parts of that history you carry forward. If this story has stirred something inside you, if it reminded you that even in dark places there are still people who will show up, please take a moment now to like the video, share it, and engage with this channel, because your support helps stories like this reach hearts that desperately need them. And before this story ends, we ask you from the deepest place, please comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel, because your words matter more than you know. Emily still walks through that parking lot sometimes, not because she has to, but because she wants to remember that fear did not win, that 3 seconds were enough to change everything, and that even the quietest voice can summon 1,000 souls when it speaks from truth, love, and the courage to stand still when the world tells you to run.